Hey everybody, it's the announcement guy, my friend Reverend Jackie, and my friend Boo Boo Bear, and we're out by the Giving Tree right now. Today's the last day to pick up a tag, and then what happens, Jackie?
Then what you have to do is buy the gift, bring it back by Monday so that we can sort them and get them out to these children on Tuesday. You can also participate online. Go to our website and give a donation in our Santa shop. Thank you so much for supporting the Giving Tree.
It's a great thing. Here's what's coming up.
Did you know that music rehearsals for our upcoming candlelight services are already well underway? Here's a little sample.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Joy, joy to the world, joy, joy, the Lord is come. He's come. Joy.
Join Jennifer, Gianna, Tom, Barry, Bradley, and all of our musicians for our wonderful upcoming candlelight services on December 23rd and 24th, 1, 4, and 7 p.m. We'll see you there. Today I'm offering the Gift of You workshop at 11:30 online. Come and embrace the greatest gift of this holiday season, you. See you there. Visit the classes page at milehighchurch.org to join the Zoom. Honor the fire and light in a meaningful ritual as we enter the astronomical darkest day of the year and spiritually prepare ourselves to move into greater light at our winter solstice service this Friday, December 16th at 7 p.m. The service will feature Lakota Way Healing Center founder Doug Goodfeather, guest musician Nwang Kachog, and Tom Litch. Visit our services page at milehighchurch.org for more details.
So it's the last day. Get some tags off the Giving Tree. This is the biggest service project we do all year, and it's a great one. So be a part of it. Have a great week.
Good morning, everybody. Come as you are, be loved as you are. Come, take a hand. Come, give your heart. Come, as you are. Come, come, come. Lift your voice. Come, shine your light. Come, now is the time. Come, come. This day we have made with God. Come see what love has done. Come, take a hand. Come, give your heart. Come, as you are. Come, come, lift your voice. Come, shine your light. Come, now is the time. Come, as we gather in this sacred place. Spirit meets us face to face. Come, give your heart. Come, give your heart. Come, as you are. Come, lift your voice. Come, shine your light. Come, now is the time. Come, come,
Denise Rosier. Thank you, Denise. Yeah, great to have you here with us today. And good morning, Mile High Church. So great to see those of you here in the room with us in our beautiful teal sanctuary. So great to see those of you who are here with us online this morning. What a delight it is to celebrate life together. I have been reflecting upon the reality that throughout most of my life, spiritual community and community itself has been a beautiful gift of support and uplift. Something within me when I was 6 years old met a little friend who was going to this thing called church. My family were not church-going folk, and I wanted to figure that out. I wanted to know what that was, so I followed her to church and went to Sunday school and became infatuated with the opportunity to be in community where people care about each other, uplift each other in prayer, and really build bonds of friendship and love. And that's what we are, and that's what I have been a part of all my life since I was 6 years old. And I'm so grateful to be part of this community where we can be together in that way in love and support of each other. So thank you for showing up today, whether it's your first time with us or you've been here many, many times. Just know that we are here to lift each other up. And especially when things are going well or challenging. And I want us to stand together during a challenge that some of us are facing of loss. We've got our memorial candle here, and I'm going to light it in just a moment. You've probably been seeing online, if you are on social media, that one of our beloved ministerial colleagues from Colorado Springs made his transition this past week. That is Reverend Norm Bouchard. He served here in our community for a number of years, a minister here at Mile High Church, and about 10 years ago, he took a call to go down to Colorado Springs and be of support there. He's a beloved colleague and friend to us. He's been teaching in our ministerial school all these years. He's been serving on our international board the past number of years, and he is a bright light and shall be a bright light in his next life expression. And so as we light this candle on behalf of Reverend Norm, we do so knowing that he is a blessing, and we send love and prayers out to his beautiful husband, Scott, to their dog, Enzo, and to our beloved community in Colorado Springs. That's also Denise's home church. They're having a sad day today, having church this morning for the first time, knowing their minister is not coming back. And so we send our love and our prayers to them. And as we go into prayer this morning, we invite you to enjoy the song that we sing together, that we can commune through music, enjoy the quiet moments of silence that we spend together, and then allow yourself to be bathed by the beautiful prayer that Reverend Jackie Harris leads us in this morning. We are so blessed to be together. Let us begin.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angel wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angel wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
Ah, yes, we feel the presence of God in this place, this beautiful domed sanctuary full of such energy that brings us alive every Sunday. Knowing that that same God is within each person who is sitting in this room and each person who is joining us online. Because God is all there is, no matter what the appearances may be in this world or at this moment in time. I am so thankful to God for the life of my friend, Norm Bouchard, for the gifts he has brought myself and so many others. And as I heard that song, I thought, angel wings are touching me, and they are the angel wings of Norm. Thank you, God. Thank you for the gift of friends. Thank you for the gift of life. And thank you for reminding us constantly that this is a wonderful life. And I'm so thankful for this community that we are a part of. Each one of us, each is a gift to this community, a gift to this world. I'm thankful for all of our volunteers, for our youth program, for all of the programs in our church that make this alive and healthy community. I am so thankful today for the message of Dr. Michelle as she reminds us of that wonderful life, and to be sure to always see the wonder of life. Thank you, God. For this and so much more, each one of us is thankful as we move into this season of light. Thank you. And so it is.
You're probably going to recognize the first part of this song. As you do, I just invite you to take these words in. Hear them as Spirit singing these words to you and about you, and you'll discover it in a whole new way. You are so beautiful to me. You are so beautiful to me. Can't you see? You're everything I hoped for. You're everything I need. You are so beautiful to me. Spirit in me, live out in the open, shine from my life like the sun. Give of your goodness, conquer the darkness, Spirit of light and love. Spirit, Spirit in
in me. 'Cause you are so beautiful to me.
Today's inspirational thoughts come from Pope John the 23rd. Mankind is a great and immense family. This is proved by what we feel in our hearts at Christmas. And from Mother Teresa, it's not how much we give, but how much love we put into giving. And finally, from Valentine Davies, from Miracle on 34th Street, Christmas isn't just a day, it's a frame of mind.
Creatures of the earth, big and small, and every hair on my head, you've counted them all. The secret of the stars and the mysteries of Mars are nothing for you to solve. You spoke your name and it all came into being. You are God of everything. You've made your home inside of me. There is nothing else I need. You are God of everything. Of time moves like shifting sand, but I am steadied by perfect hands. Vast deserts of fear and deep oceans of tears all disappear at your command. You spoke your name and it all came into being. You are God of everything. You've made
Thank you so much, Denise, and thank you to our wonderful band, to Kent and to Rob, to Mike and to Bijou. What a joy. Hey, and good news, Denise has brought her product, so you can take some Denise Rosier music home with you. She's out in the lobby. Yeah, great gifts for people. Just go out the doors, and she's right there, and be happy to sell you some of her beautiful music. And while I'm promoting things before I start my talk, I just want to remind you all that I've got a workshop today at 11:30. I'll have to skedaddle after service pretty quickly to get online, because it's going to be on Zoom, and you can register on our webpage. I really wanted to do a workshop that had to do with It's a Wonderful Life, which is what my series is about. And that whole notion of if you hadn't been born, we wouldn't be missing you. And a lot of people would be missing you. And it's an opportunity to embrace the gift that we are and that we've contributed to life. And so it's an hour and a half on a love offering basis. Come and be with me and enjoy embracing the gift of you, being comfortable in your own skin, and being the gift that you are as you go through the holiday season. So look forward to seeing some of you later on Zoom. And as I said, we're doing this two-part series on the movie It's a Wonderful Life, starring you. We started last week by the conversation was the wonderful aspect of life, and we talked about unconditional wonder at living and how to embrace that. Talked a lot about the George Bailey story and the movie It's a Wonderful Life. Many of you told me that you've gone out to rewatch or watched for the first time the movie in this past week, so that's good to know. And today we're talking about another part of the movie that I think is a key component not only to the story of George Bailey, but to us as people living this life. And today's message is called God, Show Me the Way. God, show me the way. And it's born out of a moment in the movie. I think they have a picture of it coming up. George Bailey, his uncle, has misplaced $8,000. And George is taking full responsibility for this loss. But in the process, it's really stressed him out because he knows there's going to be consequences for this and that he will probably face those consequences. Could be jail, being removed from his family, and he goes home and he's very grumpy. He's so grumpy that he uncharacteristically is very harsh with his wife. He's harsh with his children. He even says to his wife, "Why do we have all these children? Why do we have them?" And is kind of upset about what's going on in the house and grumpy at every child. He has one child, Zuzu, who came home and her teacher didn't put her coat on her. And so the little girl is not feeling well. So the teacher calls to see how the little girl is. And George grabs the phone and bawls her out. And he gives her a hard time for not helping his daughter put her coat on. And what's wrong with you teachers? And blah, 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 blah. And he's really upset. And his wife finally tells him to leave. And so he leaves and he goes to a bar to have a drink. His friend Martinelli owns this bar, and he sits down to have a drink. And in that moment, he has this desperate moment as he's drinking this drink, and he doesn't know what to do. And he basically says, "I'm not much of a praying man, God, but please show me the way. Show me the way." And Mr. Martinelli gets up and says to him, "Mr. Bailey, go home. You've had too much to drink." And this man sitting next to George says, "Is that a Bailey?" And Mr. Martinelli says, "Yes, this is Mr. George Bailey." And the man punches George and knocks him to the ground. And it turns out that's the husband of the teacher that he had bawled out. Oops. But George says, I got an answer to my prayer. I prayed and I got punched in the face. An answer to prayer. Has that ever happened to you? Maybe you didn't get punched in the face, but maybe what you thought was going to happen didn't quite happen. And it's a key moment when George interprets this to the answer to his prayer. I know that feeling when I've prayed for something fervently and it's not happening and things aren't happening or something the opposite happens or something worse happens and I can't believe it and I wonder. And this takes me into a whole wanting of exploration of that prayerful stance. You may have noticed if you've been around here for a while, that we pray a little differently. Or even if you're brand new today, you might have noticed that Reverend Jackie's prayer, a little different than the traditional way people tend to pray. Most prayers in a lot of traditions are that kind of talking to something out there, please God, show me the way. And our teaching has at its core, when it comes to God and to prayer, a belief that whatever God is, it's not just out there, some guy in the sky, listening to prayers and answering some and not answering others and giving goodies to others and punishing others. We've tended to move away from that concept of the notion of God and believe that God is more like some of the Eastern traditions, the Tao teaches or Buddhism teaches, the notion that God, whatever it is not a person, but rather a presence that is expressing itself in, through, and as all of creation and all of life. And therefore, when we use prayer, in our world, in our teaching, the most effective way to pray is a prayer of alignment, a prayer where we know that every moment of our life, this life is co-creating through us, and that our thoughts and our ideas and our attitudes and our energy become the container through which this energy creates itself. So therefore, we don't see prayer as a, hey, will you please do this goodie for me? Just do this for me and I'll do that for you. Or do this for me and I promise I'll never do that again. We don't see it necessarily that way. It's more affirmative. It's more aligning. And I also personally believe there's never a wrong way to pray. Even though I believe fervently and passionately in this affirmative kind of prayer, I believe that every faith tradition, as long as a prayer is uttered that is seeking to do more good or seeking to right something that we don't feel good about or seeking to align us with healing or wholeness or greater good, it can't be wrong. It can't be bad. And that all prayer from all faith traditions is good because prayer in and of itself is an attempt on the part of the prayer to connect with the God of one's understanding and to feel that connection in partnership to forward the momentum of their life in a certain way. And so while we may never necessarily go, God, please do this, I certainly have had my moments, even in my aligned prayers, where my prayer in that moment has been, show me the way. Show me the way. As a knowing that I needed and was calling forth guidance for myself, when I didn't know what to do, when I couldn't see the path clearly, when I was feeling a critical moment in my life, a need of healing. And even at times when I've been presented with some opportunity to change my life for good, and I'm not sure what direction to go. Show me the way. What is the way that is unfolding for us right here and right now? And so it's really about that coming into alignment and choosing to say, I accept guidance. Ernest Holmes, the founder of our teaching, says very clearly, it is not the form of the treatment which you give or the prayer which you make that gives it power. Rather, it is your faith. And that is the key. So George Bailey is desperate in that moment. And yet he has a lot of faith. And then what happens is fascinating because the whole story is about how God sends him a guardian angel, Clarence Oddbody, to help him out. But what does George do? After he's begged to be shown the way is presented, he rejects it. Yeah, there's no such thing as guardian angels. Who is this little man who's sitting next to me? What is he trying to show me? And I reflect on this too, and invite us all to take a look at those times we've desperately asked for prayer, for a solution. And then a door opens, and we go, oh, well, not that door. God, God, show me the way. And then an opportunity, well, not that. No, that I could never do that. I'm not good enough for that. That's not the right way, I'm sure. It reminds me of that wonderful teaching story about a man whose town is flooding. And so he climbs in his church to like the third story, and the water is coming up higher and higher, and a boat comes along, and they say to the man, get in the boat, get in the boat. And he says, no, God will save me. And the boat goes on, and the water's getting higher and higher, and the man climbs, and he's hanging off the steeple of the church, and a helicopter comes, and they say, get in the helicopter, get in the helicopter. And the man says, no, God will save me. And the water rises, and the man drowns. And then he's in heaven, and he's in the presence of the divine, and he says, God, why didn't you save me? And God said, I sent a boat and a helicopter. Sometimes we're like that, aren't we? Yep. We want to be shown the way just as long as it's the right conditions and the way I want it to be shown to me, and it doesn't cause any risk, and I don't have to get out of my comfort zone, and it doesn't involve some weird little angel showing me stuff. Right? Conditional prayers. And what we're talking about today is the courage not only to pray. I think prayer is a cornerstone of the life of a spiritual being, that we learn how to pray, and we speak our prayers, and we do our prayers, and we get prayer support from practitioners and prayer partners, and we make prayer a cornerstone of our life. But a huge part of allowing prayer to work for us is then to move forward after we've prayed, to watch what happens. This reminds me of last week I talked a little bit about in 2008 when I was in Arizona ministering to the New Vision Center there, and the housing market had a huge crisis, and the giving in our church dropped dramatically because people were really scared about the economy. And I had my George Bailey moment I told you last week, where I realized the church had an insurance policy, and just like George, I realized I might be actually worth more dead than alive. And then my guidance, thank goodness, said, no, that is not the path. And so I watched this movie. And when I watched the movie, I got inspired. And I realized in that moment where George prays, and then he gets guidance, that the key that I needed to do right then and there in that moment of crisis was to pray like never before. And the way I kept seeing it is that I knew that I would do my prayer work, and then I would partner with the leaders in my church, and that as doors opened, we would walk through them and we would see what happened. And a door opened almost immediately as a member of the church came and said, I found a church that's for sale. And it was like, ooh. And then we went to the banks, and the bank said, we are not lending to churches, unless you would like to pay 50% interest, or whatever it was at the time. It was crazy. It seemed impossible. And we were a little bit nervous about that, but we kept praying. And then the landlord said, well, I'm not letting you out of your lease. That's not going to happen. And so we kept praying and listening to our guidance. We did individually, collectively. Sometimes people gave me advice, quite frankly, board members or other business people, and my guidance was, nope, that's not what we're supposed to do. And somehow we followed our guidance. We found a lender. I will take full responsibility. I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but I can be a little charming occasionally. And I charmed the landlord out of surrendering the lease. And then the congregation approved it. We moved forward, and it took us a long time, almost a year. Throughout that year, people kept giving and kept us going financially. And before we knew it, we were closing on the building. We were, right as we got up to the closing, we were short the money we needed. And we prayed for guidance. And out of the blue, an angel investor showed up who wanted to remain anonymous, who brought all the money to the table that we needed for the closing, for all the closing costs. We purchased that building. The church that had owned it previously was downsizing, and they said, we're going to leave you some stuff. And we said, okay. Oh, they left so much stuff. And we moved in during the Christmas season, and our goal was to have our first service be Christmas Eve candlelight services. But we had a mess on our hands. We had so much to clean up and lights to install and a sound system to get going. And we had people there 24/7 for days. And I'll never forget that feeling on Christmas Eve as we stood there for that candlelight service. And I knew that we as a community had walked our talk. We had listened to guidance. And I tell my students all the time, TSW, this stuff works. And I knew that night it was a Christmas miracle. I call miracles normicals because they are normal, right? They are the normal reality of our life. But it was amazing. And what I know we did is we prayed and we walked through the doors. And we prayed and we walked through the doors. And I'm calling all of us today in our life, whatever state our life is in now, to do the same thing, to pay attention, to do the prayer work, and then keep your eyes open. Because just like that angel investor showed up at the last minute, there's, I think, angelic presences and opportunities all around us. Now, I am on the fence, let's talk about angels, about if there are Clarence odd bodies assigned to each one of us or not. I remember having a radio show in Arizona, and I interviewed a woman who was all about angels. And I left the interview, quite frankly, a little skeptical. Are there angels or not? And I was meditating for guidance about angels. And here's what I got. If you don't believe in angels, they can't help you. It was kind of like what my mom's been telling me about Santa all my life. Keep believing, and Santa shows up. And she's right. She's absolutely right. And so I've been experimenting with that notion. And in fact, one of the most popular lines, if not the most popular line from the show, is all about Clarence Oddbody. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings, right? We see it everywhere. Angels are part of the history of humanity. If we look into the Judeo-Christian Bible, we see lots of references to angels and angelic forms in many sacred texts. And so angels may be an important part of life. Here's what our founder, Ernest Holmes, says about it. He says, there is a divine self. The Hindus called this Atman. It has been called Buddha. The Gita called it Krishna. And the Bible calls it Christ. Socrates called it his spirit or his daemon, which he said accompanied him through life. It is through an intuitive perception of this incarnated presence that the idea of a guardian angel arose. And so I think, I've come to believe there are many forms that angels might take in our life. So my first task to us is have a prayerful life. When you pray, open your eyes, pay attention, because opportunities might show up and angels might show up. Angels show up in the form of people who can support us in our efforts. But in order for those angels to do their work, we've got to be receptive, don't we? So the second step here is being receptive to angels, not saying, oh, I don't need any help. Show me the way, and someone comes up to help you to do that or get the way done, and you say, I don't need any help. The hand goes up, right? Many of us, when it comes to the universe, we're like this. In order to be guided, we have to be open, like this. If I pray the prayer, show me the way, and I pray it faithfully, the way may show up in someone says, can I help you with that? The way may show up in mysterious ways. I know plenty of people who've said, I was in a crisis. Someone showed up and helped me. I don't know where they came from. I don't know where they went. I never saw them again. I'm sure many of us in this room have that story. Many of you watching online have that story. Angels show up in the presence of open-minded hearts that say, I'm here with you, I love you, I care about you, I know you can do it, and cheerleaders who say, I don't know what the solution is, but I know the solution is unfolding. They show up in prayer partners and practitioners. They show up in people who can support us in so many profound ways. They show up as philanthropists and friends and spiritual teachers and mentors. They also, by the way, can show up as tormentors. As I look back on my life, some of my most powerful angels were the angels who rejected me, or who changed or walked out of my life or passed on suddenly and caused me to have to go a different direction. And I look back onto a meme I saw recently. It said, it's not always rejection, it's redirection. That's part of what angels do too. Is through their absence or through their stepping away, sometimes we then are redirected in certain profound ways. And in the last few years, having lost so many people who've crossed over into the next plane, I can feel their presence still in my life, and I can hear their voice sometimes guiding me. My own father, my stepfather, my sister. She's kind of bossy sometimes, but she was that way in life too. But I can feel and sense the presence of those beings too. I found a humorous story out of the Reader's Digest. Two Irishmen walking down the street come together. Sean and Kevin haven't seen each other for many, many years. And Sean says to Kevin, so did you marry? And Kevin says, yes, my wife is an angel. And Sean says, well, you're lucky, man. Mine's still here with me. If the definition of angel is a presence that guides, supports, or helps out when needed, we are surrounded by angels, I think, in every realm, in this realm and the realm that is beyond. And accepting that and being open to that is a huge part of what supports us. It supported George Bailey in his journey, and it supports us. And even the angelic voice within us, possibly. Ernest Holmes also says there is a guardian angel that accompanies everyone through life. It is the angel of God's presence in that person. It is his spiritual nature. And so I think the next step for us is to stay awakened to our own guidance. Stay awakened to our own guidance. That's important for us to be clear and calm and in the flow, and to allow our guidance to deepen every time we listen. My friend Reverend Karen Russo used to use a word I never liked, but I found it's very true. She used to say, we have to be obedient to our inner guidance. And I admit I'm not the most obedient person on the planet, but I have learned to be obedient to that inner voice in the smallest of ways and in the biggest of ways. And the more obedient I am, the bigger that voice grows. And it grew recently very tremendously. I was in Egypt, and I came back just about a month, not quite a month ago now. And many of you have said, tell us stories about Egypt. What was it like? And I won't tell you everything today because we don't have time, and I got to go do a workshop. Did I mention that? And I do have one story today, though, that started the whole thing out. I have a picture of one of my first days in Egypt. We got up very early, and we went to the Sphinx, which is right on the same grounds as the pyramids of Giza. And we got to go down in between the paws of the Sphinx and sit down in that area and meditate inside of it. These are ancient sites that have been there for thousands and thousands of years, that people have gone to and prayed over and have an ancient energy about them. And all I can tell you is that most of what happened to me in Egypt was it felt like a buzzing in my body at different places, but that particular day, I felt something awaken in me that I think has always been there. I would say maybe it deepened, and that the past few years of grief have softened it a bit, but it opened widely for me. And my voice of guidance was like this true north. And it was on board. And it was absolutely distinguishable, absolutely clear. And it was beautiful and brilliant. And the return of it caused me to feel that connection that I've felt here and there over the years, but now it was like solid and constant. And it was with me for the rest of the trip. And it was with me, as I say, in big ways. There were times when we went someplace and my guidance was, don't drink that drink or eat that food, and I didn't, and others did and maybe didn't fare so well from it. But I knew my body wasn't supposed to have that, wasn't supposed to do that. To everything from everyone's going shopping and my voice is saying, no, you're staying home and meditating for 10 hours. Okay. I listened, I obeyed, I was obedient, and it has made all the difference. And now that I'm here back in my daily life and the work that I do, so much guidance in every realm of my living. And what I know is as we're heading into our lives every single day of the year, or we're heading into the holiday season, we're sometimes hungry for guidance. I urge us to stay awake to our own inner guidance. It might be that we are saying, show me the way to be with my family this holiday season. Show me the way to be connected to life, though I'm sad because I've lost a loved one or my life has changed dramatically. Show me the way because I'm up for healing in my heart or in my body or in my relationship with so-and-so. Show me the way. And what I know is that just like George Bailey, just like so many of us along the journey, when we are open to being shown the way is made for us. The way is made clear. The path is lit. And our job, just like it was for me in that community back in Arizona, is to continue to walk through the doors, knowing that we are always shown the highest and best for ourselves if we pay close attention. Pay close attention. So, this week, these coming days, our work is to continue to live a prayerful life. Our work is to open ourselves up to be prayerful, to watch the guidance, and to listen to our angels along the way that say, oh, my beloved, walk through this door. Walk through this door and be healed and be renewed and rejuvenated. That is our work. Those of us who are up for it are up for a beautiful ride of connection and wholeness. Let's take that together now as we pray together. I invite our practitioner prayer partners to stand with us in prayer. And we feel they're standing with us as a connecting rod of energy that goes through this room and through the community for the online viewers as our practitioners are standing, maybe even in their homes if they're watching from home. We take a stand today for the power of prayer and guidance. We take a stand today knowing that the infinite life that lives itself through us is always on board. It never is asleep. It's never non-responsive. It is always here, always now, always present, always bringing great ideas, big possibilities, comfort, and joy. We choose today, each one of us, knowing that this power and this presence is activated through us. We choose to be open to it, to be available to our own inner voice, that guidance within and the guidance that lives in the realm of what appears to be other. For we know that it is all one. That the voices, the hearts, the love, the support, the upliftment of the beloveds we share our life with is a part of that angelic realm of the divine, as well as our own inner awareness. And so we stay awake to it all. And as we say those words about any part of our life, God, show me the way. The way is made. I am shown the way, I accept the way, and I walk that way in love and light. I know this and accept this on behalf of each one of us this day, and I'm grateful that this is the truth of us here, now, and always. And in this gratitude, I simply release this prayer into the action of that law that does its work. I let it be, I let it go. It is done. And so it is. Amen.
You are God of everything. You spoke your name and it all came into being. You are God of everything. You made your home inside of me. There is nothing else I need. You are God of everything.
Ah, beautiful. Thank you so much, Denise. We are very blessed to have those of you watching us online today. We have about 300 people. My beloved Ken is home not feeling well. He popped on to say hi. Hi, Ken. Mwah. And Sam in Nashville says things are looking up with many thanks to Mile High Church, and close friend Meredith, who's also watching from South Dakota. Additionally, we have people watching from Arizona, Indiana, England, Spain, Germany, and Texarkana. I think that's probably Kimberly, right? And so thank you for watching. And thank you for participating with us in this community. It's a joy to be able to listen to our guidance when it comes to giving and sharing. We had some wonderful quotes that Reverend Jackie read about the power of giving, and so we invite you to listen to that guidance now as we step into giving and sharing of our tithes and offerings. The ways that you can do that are listed on our screen, listed on your screen if you're watching online. So there's many ways to give, including texting to give. Our ushers are going to pass baskets in the room, plus we have containers out in the lobby, and we have machines over in the guest services counters. And so whatever way is best for you today, we welcome and are so grateful for your abundant and generous giving. And as we enter into that activity, let's say our affirmation together. So please say with me, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And so it is.
Silent night, city lights are blinking red and green. Everyone feels the rush of the promise this season brings. Lovers and children with stars in their eyes wish for magic and sleigh bells tonight. And while everyone dreams of their own sweet surprise, I'm waiting on your evening flight. When you come home for Christmas, don't bring me anything. I'll have it all if you just meet me by the tree. No ribbons and bows or paper made of gold. All I want is you to hold when you come home for Christmas. Old voicemails and picture trails, that string of notes you signed. They're like a pack of time stamps night. I won't be missing 5 golden rings, and I don't need a turtle dove. Just one moment of grace when I see your face and you tell me you're here to stay. When you come home for Christmas, don't bring me anything. I'll have it all if you just meet me by the tree. No ribbons and bows or paper made of gold. All I want is you to hold when you come home for Christmas. When you come home for Christmas, don't bring me anything. I'll have it all if you'll just meet me by the tree. No ribbons and bows or paper made of gold. All I want is you to hold when you come home for Christmas. When you come home for Christmas.
Thank you, Denise, the Mile High Band, Dr. Michelle. And for those of you online, you applause this way. I'd like to hear more applause for this wonderful service today. Yes. If you are in the room and you're new to us, please stop by our Welcome Center. I'd love to greet you there. You may also what do we do? Our online folks, you can join if you're online.
Yeah.
Just know that you can become a member of Mile High Church even if you're in Spain. So keep that in mind. We also have our practitioner prayer partners coming down front. Please step forward and have an affirmative prayer. It's a beautiful way to kind of center yourself for this season. And then you can also do prayers out in the lobby, or all of us can do them online. So I encourage our online viewers to please put in your prayer request.
Our practitioners truly are angels, and we're so grateful for them. We want you to know a few things before we say goodbye today. We are not having our Healing Light service this evening. We're taking a break for the holiday season, so that will not be happening. Next Sunday, Dr. Roger will be with us speaking, so we hope you'll be here for that. Yeah, we can applaud that. Isn't that great? Yes. And don't forget the giving tree. Bring your gifts and cards tomorrow. Jackie's going to be here all day with her elves getting everything ready, and so we welcome those gifts coming back in, and we're so grateful for all the tags that have been taken and the wonderful way that we can be of service. And so let us stand together now and say our benediction and sing our peace song. And so we give thanks for the opportunity to go out into the world and feel the guidance and be the guidance that God is as us. We joyfully accept this, knowing that we are always shown the way into our highest and greatest good. Thank you, life. We let this be, and so it is.